Not really, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget my name is Sonto and I discuss Igbo spirituality and cosmology. I try to share my knowledge on ordinary, the spiritual system of Igbo, how our ancestors lived, how they perceived a lot of things that they did spiritually, and also some of the culture and traditions that we have or we had, what it means and what it represents. So this is what I do in this channel. So if you're interested in this kinds of content to learn about the Igbo people, then you're at the right channel. And that being said, at the end of the video, if you think you got value from my videos, don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on all my social media. So today I want to discuss things a Dibia should never ask you to do, and if they recommend any of these things, you need to start moving out, like run away immediately. So I've listed 8 things that I believe that a Dibia should never ask anybody to do, and if the Dibia asks you to do it, then it is time for you to pick up yourself from that shrine or from that grove and leave. And again, once you're interacting with the Dibia, you need to know one thing. You need to be intuitive. Look at your intuition. Listen to your intuition. Listen to what your mind is telling you about that person. If you're getting a negative feedback, or if you're getting some sort of a drawback or restrictions from how you're interacting with the Dibia, then it's probably your spiritual guides are not aware, or they don't want you to relate with that Dibia. So you should look at it as them trying to send you some signals and some messages, and you need to pack up and leave. So the first thing I believe that a Dibia should never ask anybody to do is a Dibia should never have any form of intimacy with his or her clients, no matter what. Now, no matter what, because some people, when you go to the Dibia to perform a work, they will tell you that yes, they are Arabina God, their deity said that you have to sleep with them, that you have to be intimate with them, you have to, if you're a woman, they might want to like touch you in a way that you're not comfortable. Or if you're a man and you go to a female spiritualist, the female spiritualist will want to be intimate with you, and they would even lie to you and tell you that if they are not intimate with you, that the so-called spiritual work that you came to do would not be successful. They're going to have to come back and redo it. So it is a lie. It is a big lie. So the moment they are putting this pressure on you or trying to tell you to be intimate with them, pack up and leave. Pack up and leave. There is nowhere they say that you have to be intimate, you have to have sexual intercourse with your spiritualist before your work becomes successful. It is not a criteria. It's an abomination. Now the second one is to harm another person or to engage in malignant organ that would cause harm to another person. Now, what we know in our spiritual system is that in ordinary, for you to fully embrace ordinary and participate ordinary in its natural form, is that you have to have this degree of respect for human life and property. You would not find ways to take what does not belong to you, to murder somebody else. You have to live your life in such a way that you are going to be a role model to other people. So if you're a role model to other people, how then would something that requires you for you to be a role model now turn around and now ask you to shed blood or to participate in activities that are going to destroy another person's life and property? So what happens here is that a Dibia does not have the mandate or the right to tell you to engage in any harmful practices or harmful activities. So if a Dibia recommends something that you know that it is not right for you to do, pack up and leave. The third one is a Dibia would never tell you to reject your chi, your ancestors, chi, Alosi deities from your father's side or from your mother's side, and other cosmic forces in exchange for what the Dibia worships or venerates. When you go to some Dibias and because we have a methodology in the practice of ordinary, the first step is that you have to be in alignment with what Ndi will refer to as a person's chi, the Zumezu or chi and Oramu. Now you go to a Dibia for some sort of work, and the Dibia tells you, oh, you've not aligned with your chi or your ancestral and familiar spirits. You should abandon those ones and first of all come and acknowledge the one I venerate or the one I said, because this one is going to do this and going to do that for you. Just pick up your stuff and leave, because he is lying to you. He is lying to you. The first methodology, the first step in ordinary is to be in an alignment with what Ndi will perceive as chi no hamu, or chi and its image. So if you're not in communication, in an alignment with this fundamental spirit or fundamental aspects of your spirituality, it's an aberration to what we practice. So if they encourage you to abandon the ones that are indigenous to you and now divert first of all to the one that is indigenous to them, it is time for you to pick up and leave. Because for whatever reasons, they are trying to deceive you. They are being deceptive. So avoid them, pick up your stuffs, and leave that place immediately. Do not waste time. Just tell that person, okay, no problem, I'm going to get back to you. Go back, block the person's number, and stop being in communication with that person. Now, another thing that a Dibia would never ask you to do is that a Dibia would never ask you to rely solely on spiritual means for the elevation of physical illnesses. And this is where finding solutions comes in. A lot of us, when we have an issue, we are sick, we have issues financially and other things. The next thing that we do is to run from one Dibia'S house to the other. And once you get to that, most of these Dibia'S will just keep recommending rituals, perform this one, sacrifice that one, do this one, do that one. But you will never hear them asking you about the physical activities that you engage in that is supposed to transform or to grant this kind of success or help to elevate your finances for you. So most of these best, they keep telling you, do this ritual, perform that ritual, get this obu, get that obu. But they've never asked you a fundamental question, which is, what do you do for a living? What have you engaged? What activities have you engaged that are determined at promoting you, promoting yourself, your knowledge about a specific field? What career are you on? What are you doing? What are you doing with your hands? Because what you're doing with your hands are what is now going to translate as financial liberation for you. So some of them are just focused on do this ritual, do that ritual. Now, secondly, if you're sick, now I get it. Some of us believe that once you're sick, that some sicknesses can be triggered by some spiritual misalignment. This is where we have the provision of being in the Igbo. You have the provision of, trying this and trying that. So you will see here that what a Dibia will do is, the Dibia is consulting through divination to find out what is wrong with this person. And as they are finding out, they are also recommending herbs that you're going to take. Back in the day, that was how they did it. They are doing divination to know if it is a spirit that caused this thing. And what can they do? What kind of herbs are they going to recommend? It's as if they are performing some sort of diagnostics. Today you go to the hospital, and if the doctor does not know what is wrong with you, they encourage you to go and rub some lab tests. And from the results of the lab test, they can now determine the right medications to place you on. So if you go to a Dibia when you're sick, and the Dibia is only prescribing rituals and divinations and all those hocus pocus without being proactive, without offering you herbs for you to take, because those herbs are natural remedies to some certain illnesses, then you need to pack and go. That Dibia is going to kill you. They're going to deceive you to an extent that you're going to just be useless and to die at the end of the day. So you have to be observant enough. What we do, like unlike what most churches do, when you go to church, they're praying, God heal this person, without trying every other thing within their arsenal, trying everything to save that person by maybe taking the person to the hospital, but just give that person olive oil and all those things. This is not the methodology that we use as in Igbo. Our methodology is we use divination to ascertain, and we also recommend herbs. Now, in our physical reality, it is not left for you to know the right path to use. You could decide to go to the hospital, or you could decide to go through the traditional means, because it is always way cheaper than the modern medicine. But it all depends on you and what is happening to you, so you have to be very attentive. Now, the fifth one is to institute Obu. Anybody will never tell you to institute Obu as part of your Ezumezu or your spiritual guides. Now, what we have here is people lying to Dibia'S, lying to a lot of people. Now, they will tell you that some certain Obu, like Awele, Ibobo, Okiti. They will tell you, oh, you went for divination, that, oh, your chi asked you to institute this thing, as part of your Oramu. It is a lie. It is a lie. I tell people that indeed the practice of modern day ordinary has been made to be what it is not. It has been structured in such a way that it's as if it is now encouraging us to stray away from the fundamentals. You have your chi, you have your awu, you have your ndiji. Now, awu on its own is an energy that boosts a person's creativity, while your chi becomes your driving force, and your ikinga becomes your strength to act. So you cannot have this fundamental spirit, ezumezu, or hamo. You cannot have this fundamental spirits and still be going outside of them to get something that is supposed to perform the same tasks and functions of these predominant natural spirits. And they would now lie to people, because when you now try to tell them, oh, but this is not part of my, my foundation, they will tell you, oh, it is your chi that asks you to do it. Now the question here is your chi that weak, that your chi would need an institution that is strictly man-made for it to function. Now, there are different school of thought, and it depends on what a person believes. Now, I am of the opinion that you cannot have Chi and Ezumezu, your Chi and Oramo, and still be looking for these additional forces. It complicates things. Your Chi is well and capable of doing it for you. But what matters here is, what is your strength? How often do you develop yourself? How often do you reinvent yourself? Because at the end of the day, we human beings are at the driver's seat, driving this conversation, driving this cosmic force into the direction that we want to go. So we keep on driving, we keep on directing them. They have already predestined a certain path for us to take, but we are also at the driver's seat. So you cannot say, okay, this person is going to be rich, and the next thing, the only thing you do is wake up and sleep. Or wake up, you're not trying to develop yourself, you're not trying to be hardworking. How do you now expect to achieve dreams and manifestations for you to come into reality? So what they now tell people is, oh, go and do, or use that one to support. But to me, it's based on how you shall want your life to go. But to me, it is something that you should pick up and run away from. Now, the sixth one is, a leader will never ask you to disrupt natural order by engaging in taboos. We have also chinso, but also when sana. So all this is, a leader would never ask you to disrupt the natural order, because all this also that we are trying to preserve are natural orders, while taboos are disruptions of this natural order. So for instance, now a leader will not tell you, oh, you can, do anything you want, live your life in a certain way, and still comfortably practice ordinary. But the right leader will tell you that you are supposed to keep to this, you have to keep to these certain principles, morality, and so keep to them, prevent them, don't engage in certain activities. So you don't be in misalignment with these cosmic forces. This is you preserving these natural orders. But when a leader encourages you to do as you want, to live as you want, and still now try to tell you that at the end of the day that you're good to go, the leader is trying to distract you, is trying to destroy you at the same time. So run away from that leader. Now we have two more topics to go. Now the seventh one is, and the leader will never ask you to have a certain altar raised in his shrine. Now these days, because of how things are, many of us are now instituting our Chi altar, our altar in the Dibia'S house. But based on our own Igbo methodology, all those things are supposed to be done by you, handled by you in your own house. If you're a woman, when you marry, if you're a man, when you build your own house. So it is supposed to be done by you and handled by you, and not the Dibia. So I feel to a certain extent that these spiritual forces are going to kind of accept it because of the order of things. But you need to be careful to notice the kind of person you're entrusting these things in his or her hands. If it's the person that engages in killing people in ritual activities that involves human sacrifices, then you're trapping yourself and you're making your situation even worse than it was. So you need to be extremely careful. And the last one here is, a leader will not or should not make you to pay allegiance or to swear an oath with his own alosin. Because of culture, they need to find something. They need to pursue wealth by all means necessary. We see young people going to these Dibia'S house and that Dibia'S house and swearing allegiance and oath to the deity that they see in that Dibia'S house. It is not the one that is attached to your root, your it is the one that it's in the Dibia'S house that has little or nothing to do with you. For some people, these shrines or this Agosin could even be in another location, another community, another state. And once they go there, they are paying allegiance and swearing oaths and promising that they are going to do this and do that for that deity. It is not how it is done in our cosmology. You do not swear oaths, especially when it has to do with things that are not fundamental and indigenous to you. It could lead to so many activities that are going to go wrong in your life. So the best thing, even if you have to swear an oath, it should be the one that is in your father's house or your mother's house, and the reason for that is that those ones in your roots, they know you, they know your ancestry, and they are in communication. They work hand in hand with your ancestry and your ancestors, your Chi, your fundamental spiritual guides. So even if you don't keep to your own part of the bargain, they are more lenient to you than a deity or a force that is in another community. So this is why we tell people, don't pay allegiance or swear oaths to deities in any Dibia'S house that you see. When I go to the one in your community, So if a Dibia is trying to pressure you or is trying to force you into taking or swearing an oath or allegiance, it is time to pick up and run away. So I could help this 8 things that I listed would help you and guide you in your communication and interaction with a Dibia so you don't make mistakes. So if you gain value for this video, don't also forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment, and I'll see you in my next video.